Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the weekly watch list where we go over all of our levels, setups we're looking at for the week, and coming into tomorrow, Monday morning. So let's start off, like usual, with the news for the week. Nothing really significant till Friday, but we do have a few news events worth making note of here. So it's going to be FOMC member Goolsbee speaks and NAHB housing market index at 10 a.m. Monday. We also have here on Tuesday building permits and housing starts as well. Going into Wednesday, we have 10:30 crude oil investors, and at 11 a.m. FOMC member Cook speaks. Nothing really significant there. Obviously, we're going to probably be gone by that time. 8:30 a.m. Thursday, we have USD unemployment claims. Going to be very significant to affect kind of how it works, how things go in the morning could ruin or make our setups that we have. Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, FOMC member Hammock speaks, USD at 8:45 a.m. We also have a 10 a.m. existing home sales, CB leading index, and then natural gas shortage at 10:30 a.m. Friday, we have the most significant news here, kind of, alongside really Thursday as well. 9:45 USD flash manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI. 10 a.m. we have revised UOM consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. So it's going to be some notable news here on Friday because we get the most volatile big moves here kind of right off open, post open. So it's going to really kind of affect us, I think. And we're going to, want to be aware of that, okay, going into Friday. So going into the earnings reports this week, some people have taken Walmart into pass. Could be something to look at, really. Other than that, we only got one big, elephant in the room is going to be NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA is going to be one of those ones could really skyrocket up to the 150 level we've been watching. We rejected. I think we're down to about 130 share value right now. So it's going to be something to just watch, keep an eye on. Other than that, really nothing else to make note of on the earnings side of things this week. Going into the actual watch list this week, it's a pretty short list. Don't have anything really too significant here on my end. I have a couple side watches, but if you want to join stock hours, take a look at those. That's going to be where you're going to find my side watches, along with stock hours, Frankie's, and Nora's actual side watches as well. Just because they're side watch doesn't mean they're such to be a setup to completely skip. It's just something with potentially more higher risk, but definitely a valid risk and a potential large return as well. So, join stock hours, and and that's where you'll find those. So going into our actual watch list for the week, it's going to be AMD, Meta, and Tesla. So we're going to start with the markets this week. It's going to be on ES. Nothing too significant here. You can see here we're kind of setting up for really more downside sentiment this week, given that we're shaping into a bear flag here. We haven't developed it yet, but this is the beginning of the structure of it. You can very easily see it, especially going into some of these setups. I think AMD is one of those where it looks very similar. It's almost copying the market. But with AMD, that's going to be one of those setups I got to see divergence, so I'll get into that more when we get there. Significant levels this week, 5880 is going to be around that area to break that. See these lows crack, obviously, for downside. We don't have any notable trends here. Nothing really downtrend. I mean, we have a downtrend, but not a theoretical based one yet, really. So, going into this week, really looking at downside sentiment. Again, like I said, there's not really a whole lot of structure here. We got some formation of downtrend, downward channel right now development, but other than that, looking at, like I said, inverse H development pattern here, 5880. Going out past that would be 5860. Coming into a channel high here, this would be a channel we have from the 4-hour, I believe, or the daily. So you can see we're coming into that uptrend. We're still in an uptrend formation. We're just getting a relief sell-off here from that rallying. And we're going to see if we get a relief rally here. We're going to have continued sell-off. So it's just going to be an interesting week to say. But like I said, I believe based off the shorter 1-hour frame, we're going to be getting a downside sentiment this week. So like I said, not a whole lot of significant levels. More so just kind of knowing how to read this, understanding what's about to come this week. So a lot of the setups are going to probably be downside based this week, especially since we've been hitting all-time highs and now the elections hype has died down quite a bit. We're going to be likely seeing, that sell-off we have been desperately needing on the market for a while now to fill that, that area, that just the over the last few years with the Biden administration, the unfulfilled area. So, this could be the start of a pretty big sell-off, which is going to be fun to catch and ride along with. So, again, here it's going to be NQ is going to be a very similar story to ES. Nothing really crazy. Some highs and lows. If we're looking at upside, we got 20,800, 20,864. Nothing really too significant there. If we're looking at downside, we got a couple other levels here. 20,405, 20,372, 20,300, 20,200. Just the significant psychological levels. Obviously this one's going to be a little more notable rejection pivot point area, 20,288, which would be really 20,300. So we'll see how it comes. Like I said, a very similar pattern formation development here as the likes of ES, but we'll have to see this week. Again, here is going to be our first setup we were already kind of talking about, AMD, looking at a bear flag development pattern here. We're just going to have to see how this kind of forms, right? I'm going to be looking at this here at the 133.74 level. Personally, I like this here at this area where this is a previous level of support that I had on my larger time frames, going back to all the way last August, actually, last year. So got a pretty notable amount of support here at this given level. So if you just look at it, you can see this. So we're going to be looking at that. It's just going to be, you can see some rejection pivot point support here. I was a little misconstrued. It's not up here. It's down here. So this is going to be a notable area of support to definitely crack. And if it sets up correctly, just to reiterate, if anybody hasn't seen the previous ones, with previous watch lists, you need to understand that with an AMD setup, we have to have definite divergence on this company in order to really take a setup on this. If it doesn't have that divergence and it's following some notable market tie-in and it's not doing its own thing, then there's going to be a lot of red flags with that. And albeit it isn't it's following a pretty notable downtrend here from the recent high, it still is nothing to play around with and nothing to really solidify or cement a given direction. So we need to see that divergence here into the 133 area is what I'm looking at. And I'll likely just be targeting, probably 132, 132.50. Not going to be looking for a lot here. At that point, I'll be overextended for AMD, and I'm, going to be we'll see a rejection, a little bit of a relief here. So that's going to be what I'm looking for on that given company. On our second main watch for this week, it's going to be Meta 550 here to the downside. Don't have anything to the upside yet, but it doesn't mean we couldn't get it. If we do, though, however, we're going back into a chop range. This is a really low density area. As you can see, there's almost no volume here, so this is a really green flag. I love this. If you were to reject and go back up, this is probably not going to be looking at a whole lot here, honestly, upside. I don't like anything to the upside this week. Don't see anything. But this little flat bottom kind of development here is really, really showcasing Meta's weakness against the market versus other companies. A lot of companies, AMD, Apple even, are showcasing that kind of bear flag development. This is just showing a flat bottom. So it's showing more of a weaker setup, like a stronger setup, weaker company. So this is going to be my number one watch coming into tomorrow. I'm going to be looking at the 551.50 area as my entry. 551 to break as an initial scale out to catch probably about 10%. And then I'm going to be looking to hold all the way through 550 down to potentially even 549. Likely what I'll do is I'll scale out a quarter at 550 and then you get the final quarter, my last runners at 549. This is a pretty notable trade. This would probably pay about 30%. It'd be a clean trade. We'll see how fast it happens. If it's a slower or quicker trade, it just kind of all depends on what happens. Obviously, any trade can always go red, so just keep your stops accordingly and play it smart. Don't just be in a trade because you want to catch the percent. Read the tape, read the data, read the volume. It's that simple. Tesla, going to my final setup this week, is going to be at the 325 area here. Now, this isn't necessarily the greatest area, but I like the setup here. I like the way it's kind of structuring up here with the market. We do have a little bit of a downtrend to break here on a larger time frame, 15-minute. But one of the things to be aware of is going to be that this is more of a higher density volume area. This isn't really one of those areas that we're coming into clean price action, so to speak, on like Meta, say for instance. And that's why that's my number one setup. And AMD may even come above Tesla, but Tesla loves to do those crazy early morning pumps. So you can just see here right off open. From the open price, we had a 310 in the first 30 minutes all the way to 320. It's a 10-point move in 30 minutes. So it loves to do that. You can see that was definitely the largest move the entire day. And we get that time and time again, right? I mean, we just see this here, 336 all the way to 345. So it's pretty easy to see that. And that's kind of the thing I'm going to be looking for here going into this level. Sorry, I think I might have said 335. I meant 325 on the level. My entry would be 324.68 at the recent on Friday's high. We'll see what kind of trends we form coming into Monday tomorrow, see what's developed. But that's going to be my level target. It's going to be 326 on this to have a valid risk. Likely be about 15 to 20% ROI in this with a 10% stop and a 2 to 1 RR. Just assess it correctly, right? Don't be stupid. Full size on this obviously is going to be Monday. We don't have any upcoming significant news to affect sizing, FOMC, anything like that. So this should be one of those, clean trades if it does set up correctly. All right, it's probably going to be a quick one as well, 1 to 2 minutes, if that. All right, so that's going to be the weekly watch list this week, guys. I appreciate you watching as usual. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Any suggestions, any other watches you might have, and questions, just shoot them in a DM here. Comment here, ask me for my Instagram. I'll DM you there. I appreciate it as always, guys, and let's kill it this week as always. Let's be professionals. Have a great week. Bye.